After the scandals, late-night tweets and an insurrection, are these the seemingly harmless boxes that could end it all for Donald J. Trump?
He will make Mar-a-Lago his full-time residence after...
The former president stands accused of mishandling government documents by taking them from the White House and storing them in his Florida home.
Chopper 5 here, spotting some movers unloading some trucks at Mar-a-Lago.
A possible violation of the Espionage Act, prompting the FBI raid earlier this month. The judge in Florida who signed off on that raid today allowed the affidavit used in that search to be published.
The release of that redacted version of the affidavit.
It reveals that the National Archives first made a request in May 2021 for the return of missing presidential documents, and they continued to make requests until 15 boxes were handed over in January of this year, and an investigation was then started by the Department of Justice. Reviewing those boxes, the FBI found that in 14 of the 15 boxes, there were a lot of classified records, including 92 marked as secret and 25 marked as top secret. These were all held in parts of Mar-a-Lago they said were not authorized locations for the storage of classified information. All of those findings led to the August raid, which recovered yet more boxes.
This is the list of paragraphs that have been blacked out.
And that's all we know for now. The judge allowed the DOJ to redact the rest of the affidavit, so they could protect the identities of civilian witnesses who may be subject to intimidation. The DOJ also wants to protect law enforcement. They noted that FBI agents who have been publicly identified in connection with the investigation have received threats of violence.
The FBI's a Gestapo.
This is all a new grievance for Trump's allies as they attack the Attorney General, Merrick Garland.
You people are pure and entire scum.
I didn't have any advance notice.
On the other side of the political divide, Joe Biden, who said he had no advance notice of the FBI raid, was campaigning in Maryland last night and described the rhetoric from Trump-supporting Republicans as semi-fascist.
The MAGA Republicans don't just threaten our personal rights and economic security. They're a threat to our very democracy. They refuse to accept the will of the people. They embrace political violence.
How do you feel, Mr. Trump?
Trump himself has pivoted from saying there were no documents to saying he had declassified them to even alleging they were planted. While the raid doesn't mean there will be charges brought against him, it's not the only investigation.
We will never give up.
The DOJ is also looking into his role in the January 6th insurrection. And in Georgia, a special grand jury is investigating interference in the 2020 election, with Trump's former chief of staff, Mark Meadows, currently being asked to testify. This all creates a string of headaches for a man who just wants to focus on a 2024 White House run. If he's successful in that endeavour, he'll want to be more careful with his papers.
So, Karen, what can we expect next with this investigation?
Well, Fatima, there's no indication that the Justice Department will definitely file charges against Donald Trump. The Department of Justice, though, has to tread carefully between protecting its investigation and being transparent with the public. Look at it this way. What if they don't file charges? That would just anger Trump's allies who say this was a witch hunt. What if they do file charges? Where would you have the trial of Donald Trump, and imagine the protests? And if they do file charges, they better hope that they're watertight, because imagine if he's found not guilty. What would that do to some people's faith in American institutions? Think of the change in the last 50 years. When Richard Nixon was being investigated by the FBI for Watergate, Republican voters said, if the FBI is looking into you, that's not a great look. Now they're saying, defund the FBI. So today's affidavit, it gives us some more information on a very critical case, but there's still a very long way to go.